Hey world, I just wanted to talk about why do people feel like they have to be something more than they already are? Because I feel like sometimes I'm like, why am I not rich now? By 27 years old, I thought I would be rich, you know? But, current events made me rethink that decision, but other than that, money's good to some extent. I do feel like there's a greed problem in the world, but at the very end of the day, money can make good things happen. So, even for families or, the world. Look at Mr. Beast. He made, 50 wells in Africa? That helped a lot of people, okay? I don't care what's going on behind the scenes because that's a lot of help, and he's done many good things, and I think that that's great. You don't see anybody else doing that, which is why he's so rich and famous and successful. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, I feel like a lot of people, they go around going, oh man, why am I not successful? Why am I not doing this? Why is my business not taking off? Why is this happening? Why am I not this? Why is this? Why are they getting more attention than me on social media? Blah, blah, blah. And I feel like this stems from wanting, I guess you could say. You want too much. Want what you have now. And be happy now. That is my advice, because once you get those things, you will still want more. Once you get that money, you will still want more and more and more and more. You're going to be greedy, and you're not even going to realize it. You're going to take your money for granted. You're going to take your apartment for granted. You're going to go, yeah, I'm on a giant skyscraper and eat steak dinners every day, but why don't I have a private jet yet? Excuse me? Be happy. Excuse me? Because there's literally people out there like that who make good money and are still complaining that they don't have enough. And first of all, I'm broke, okay? I am. I'm broke and I'm happy. And in a sense, I am rich, okay? In a sense, I have everything I want. And you got to realize the journey of life is the destination. The journey will take you to where you're meant to be. Maybe what you think you want is not what your soul wants. Maybe your soul is craving something different and you're just not aware yet. And that's okay. There have been many times in my life where I thought I wanted something and then I got it and I went, yeah, this thing isn't that great. And that's literally, I've had that happen many times in my life. And I can tell you from experience, it's great to get what you want, but at the end of the day, you take those things for granted. You forgot you got what you wished for in this very moment. Sometimes you get it and it's not what you thought it would be. Sometimes you get money and go, oh, yeah, well, I'm still not happy. Money does not equate mental health, clarity, and lack of loneliness. I'm sure there's a lot of rich older people that are lonely. Okay? Because they're already rich. What do they do all day? Rich people think stay at home, go shopping, then what? What if they don't have any friends? What if they don't have anybody to enjoy their life with? What if they don't have a beautiful wife? That would be very depressing. And what if they're scared to go online because they're going to go, oh, well, what if my beautiful wife, what if I find a girl and she just wants to use me for my money? I mean, that's possible, but at the end of the day, go on, try. And literally, sometimes people gotta get out of their comfort zones to feel happiness. I had to get out of my comfort zone many years ago to feel happiness. And what I mean by that is I had extremely bad social anxiety when I was younger. Really, really, really bad. And it was so bad that I was so depressed. And I was so scared to talk to anybody. And if anyone talked to me, I would just be so scared of them. And it was really debilitating as a human being because it would deter me from thinking correctly when I was, getting people's cash ready. I would completely forget what I was doing and what I counted and give them the wrong amount of money, which even spiked my anxiety even more. It's because the brain is strange when it's scared or afraid. And what I'm saying is sometimes you got to get out of your comfort zone. You got to do things that make you uncomfortable to find happiness. Like try something new. Like leave the state you're in. Or leave the country. Or talk to that guy you think is really hot. You got to try, And, sometimes the thing that you think will make you happy will only make you happy for a little bit, and then that happiness will kind of dwindle away. Oh, don't look at that. It'll dwindle away because you take it for granted, or you don't like it anymore. Like you get with a guy you've always wanted to get with, and you go, oh yeah, well, you know what? He's actually kind of a fucking asshole. I've had that happen to me before a few times. And I could just say to you that it's okay. It's okay to think you want something and then receive it and then go, not like it. Maybe the reason why you didn't receive it in the first place was because it wasn't meant for you, but God was just, you know what, here, have it. And I told you not to. And then, you did it and you're like, oh, well, you know what, fine. Stuff like that. And you really just got to realize that nature has its way of providing. And I know this from personal experience. Nature has its way of providing you exactly what you need, right when you need it. You don't have to worry. You don't have to think about it so hard. You don't have to constantly be hoping. You don't have to keep your thoughts all positive all the time. Sometimes it's just a natural thing that happens. We are a part of nature. Our thoughts are nature. And what is God? Nature. God is also imagination. God is all. And I'm just saying, nature has its way. We have our way of doing things. Bugs have our way of doing things. Everything does. And, what I'm trying to say is that everyone has their time to blossom, okay? Like a little seed, seed that's in the ground, and you go, oh yeah, well, the seed's not growing. Well, because you're not watering it enough. Sometimes you gotta water it with tears, because you're sad. Like me, when I was younger, I cried a lot every fucking day. For hours and hours and hours because I was so depressed and I would smoke weed all day. Listen to the same song over and over and over again. All day. For 24 hours. That's what I would do. And that would make anyone depressed, right? Guess what the song was? It was by Jhené Aiko. Sativa. I would listen to that one over and over again. And then I would also listen to the other few songs on the Trip album over and over again. And yes, it was very depressing. But I can tell you something. At the time, I still felt, I thought I wasn't where I needed to be. I really did. I thought I wasn't. I thought I was going wrong with my life. I thought I had made all the wrong decisions. I thought I wasn't going anywhere. I thought I was just going to be a fucking failure. And I really mean that. I really fucking mean that. I really fucking mean that. And things happened later on in life to where I knew that things happen for a fucking reason. You can't tell this bitch that God isn't real. You can't. Because once you do crazy fucking things like me, and God provides you every fucking thing you need every single time, you cannot tell me that God is not real. I ran away, when I was 17 years old. I ran away with a stranger from Badoo. It was a dating app. And, I didn't know him. We didn't even talk on the phone, really. We just texted, and I was like, hey, can I come with you? I'm depressed. I want to leave. He said yes. So that night, or 3 days later, I, met him. And he took me all the way down to Colorado. And I didn't know him. I was very uncomfortable. He wasn't super talkative, which kind of made it worse because I wasn't either. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so scared. And literally, we ended up having sex. I felt really uncomfortable. I cried because I didn't want to, because, he didn't even really talk to me the whole time. And I was like, oh my God, what the fuck is going on? Like, literally, it was just a really uncomfortable experience. And, when he got home from work, he literally wouldn't even say hi. Like, I was like, this is really uncomfortable. Like, you want me to say hi? This is your house. You drove me 17 hours away from my home and you won't even say hi to me? I don't know. I thought it was really fucking weird and uncomfortable. So what I did was I went on Tinder and I asked this girl, I was like, hey, could you please let me come to your house? And she said yes. Literally the first person I asked. She gave me her address right away. And I asked him, I said, can you drive me to her house? He said yes. So I went over there. A whole bunch of shit happened. I couldn't get a job. I only had 2 weeks to, find somewhere. I couldn't. So what I did, there was this other homeless girl this chick had ended up taking in. I went with her to her house for one night, and her mom was abusive, so I wanted to get out because she was a creep. She was, sexually molesting her own daughter, and I thought, when I went to their house, she already had told me prior, and it was just really weird. And she was a fucking Uber driver, so it was my first time in an Uber and with a child molester. I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? So what I did was I went on a dating site again, and this guy was asking me for a threesome. I was like, okay, can you come pick me up? And I'm going to stay with you. And he said yes. So he came to pick me up because I needed to get out of that place right away because she wouldn't let me stay another night. So I was like, whatever. And then literally I got there. His girlfriend apparently was pregnant, and he didn't even tell me that. And I was like, oh my God. So I started crying because, literally when she saw me in the back seat, she just kind of looked at me and just sat down, and I don't know, it just kind of felt off. And I knew she was pregnant, so it made it even worse. I was like, ew, this is fucking disgusting. I thought this was just gonna be normal. It's not. It's fucking gross. You got this fucking girl pregnant and you're asking me for a three-way? No. So what happened was, prior to that, I had already had an ad on Craigslist that I needed somewhere to stay, to rent. So what had happened was, this fucking angel ended up calling me to get me out of this situation. Because I guess they had just gotten kicked out. And I was like, no fucking way. So they were going to take me to the girl's parents, which were super alcoholic and abusive. So I was like, no, I don't fucking think so. So literally, this angel called me and was like, hi, I heard you needed a place to stay. I was like, oh my God, can you come help me? So I asked them to stop at a hotel. And then I went in. And this fucking clerk lady, this fucking old raggedy ass fucking cunt bitch, she literally looked at me and said, all the weirdos come out at night. And I was like, bitch, are you racist? Literally, I didn't say that, but I was thinking it. I was like, bitch, what the fuck? Because I was crying. When somebody comes to you crying in a hotel, I think my first instinct would be asking if they're okay. Not to be, oh, you're a fucking weirdo. No, hello. Anyway, I was like, and I told her I needed to call my mom. So, literally, that lady threatened me. Within 1 minute, she said, you need to get out of here. And I was like, why? I'm calling my mom. I just got here. And I was literally in tears. And she's like, you need to go. And I was like, okay, whatever. And she threatened to call security on me. And I was like, whatever, I can't fucking stay in here while I'm fucking crying to call my mom for 5 fucking seconds? What the fuck? So literally, I left and went out. And, oh no, that's when the lady called me. That's when the lady called me. Because I went out to the... Sorry, this was years ago. I was 17. I'm 27 now. This was 10 years ago. Anyway, yeah, the lady called me when I got in the car. I told them to stop by the hotel so I could call my mom, so I could tell her what the fuck was going on, because I was like, oh my god, I'm so scared. And literally, the lady, oh my god, that fucking clerk lady, she's such a fucking cunt. I think she's racist, for real. But anyway, I sat back down in the car, and right away, I got this call from this angel, and she's like, hey, I heard you needed a place to rent on Craigslist. I was like, oh my god, could you come get me? I'm in a weird situation right now. So she came to get me. She called me and came to get me. Like, it was just such a weird, like, I know that was a fucking angel. And you can't tell me it's not, because I just know it was. And literally, her and her husband came. They picked me up with my luggage, and I explained to them that I ran away with this guy, and, you know, so they told me that they were teachers. And I was like, oh my god, thank God. And, you know, I had to put my trust in these people. These people had to put their trust in me. And I was just like, oh my god, this is so, you know, I was thankful that they came to help me, because they didn't have to. And, you know, they were a bit iffy, which makes sense, but they were like, it sounds kind of like a scam. I'm like, dude, I literally I'm in a weird situation. That's all it is. And literally, so what had happened was, the lady told me that I could pay to stay at their house for a day or whatever, and then leave in the morning at 6 o'clock, and I was like, oh my god, okay. So, literally, I gave her like $20, and then I asked for it back because I only had $600. And then, I called my mom. Long story short, I got on the Greyhound bus and came home. Yeah. I got on the bus, came home, said, yeah, fuck that. So that's literally how that first time running away went. That was the first time. There was a second time. There was a second time. But you can't tell me that angels aren't real. The second time, similar things happened, except I think the second time was a little bit... Well, I guess they were both good experiences for my soul. My soul needed it for some reason. But it was just a very stressful experience. And I ran away again when I went to Hawaii when I was 22. So I think 4 years later. And, you know, things happened, and it's a whole long story. I think I made a video on it. I might have deleted it. I might need to remake it. But that's what happened there. And then the second time I ran away, oh my god, it was during COVID. So literally, I was super depressed. I was super suicidal, and I was like, if I don't fucking leave this fucking place, I'm gonna just fucking kill myself or somebody else. So I need to fucking go. So what I did was, I got a ticket to Hawaii, and it was super cheap because it was during COVID. So it was like $300. So I had $1,500, spent $300, so I had $1,200 left. And I got there, and I was like, oh my god, what the fuck do I do? Because I didn't have a place lined up. I didn't have a job lined up. I didn't have anything. I just got to the airport and started crying, called my mom. I was like, Mom, help me. Help me. And she's like, oh my god, you need to call Lorna, which is my aunt, who had friends there in Hawaii. So I texted Lorna, or I called her, and went, hey, Lorna, can you help me? So she told me that this lady named Anne this was one of my childhood friends' mothers, because I used to live there in Lahaina, Hawaii, you know, and she knew me as a kid, so she told me I could stay there. So she gave me her number, and I was like, "Hi, Ann, can I come over?" And she said yes. So I now had to find a way there. So prior to that, I had put an ad on Craigslist that I needed somewhere to stay, and I was talking to this guy who was near the airport for some reason, and I didn't know why, but I was like, okay. And literally, I was like, why is this guy by the airport? I'm so weirded out. But honestly, he was really nice. So I ended up going out to hitchhike, and he just found me. And I was like, oh my God. Because his car, it was like a business car, but it was like a little bit like spray painted, kind of a little ghetto, I guess, looking. Like some poor guy put it on there. And it had like this air horn that sounded like a cartoon. And I was like, why does this sound like a cartoon right now? And he said, hey, are you new to Hawaii? I was like, yeah. And he's like, come on in. So I went in the car because me and him were already talking prior. And I was like, so what we were talking about was me going to his house. But, well, I didn't want to. So I was like, can you just take me to Lahaina? And he's like, sure. He's like, that's not what we planned, but okay. So he was nice enough to do that, and he was telling me about his business. So his car was a business car for his business. I guess he had like a helicopter business or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, thank God. At least he's like, you know, some guy who has something, you know, going for him. At least he's not just some random weird guy. Anyway, the whole ride there, he was talking about like the ocean and the whales, how they were coming out to like mate with each other, and I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. And like I remember the way the sunset looked, it just looked so beautiful, and you could see dolphins coming up. It was so beautiful. And literally, this guy was very nice. Like, he was a very nice guy, except there was this one point where I was pointing out this truck had big wheels, and he's like, does that turn you on? I'm like, no. And that's really the only weird thing that happened with him. I didn't really give a fuck about that. I was just grateful that he drove me. And then I gave him $50. I was like, thank you so much. I'm so sorry. And he's like, it's fine. Have a good day. I was like, bye. So I got to Ann's house. And Ann, she told me I looked the same that I used to when I was younger. So I took that as a compliment. So I was like, oh, yeah, because, I mean, I was, you know, at the time I thought I was fat, but now I'm even fatter. So I was like, you know, c'est la vie, whatever. And literally, this lady, she was nice. I mean, whatever. I just stayed there for a night, and she told me I could only stay for one night. So I was like, oh, my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? So, like, literally, the next day, okay, you can't tell me angels aren't real, motherfucker. You can't tell me angels aren't real. I have experience with it multiple times. The next day, I woke up to a text that said, hey, I heard you needed a place to stay. There's this place in Lahaina, which was where I was. And guess what? It wasn't just where I was. It was one fucking street away. One fucking street. Okay? That is not a fucking coincidence. That's a fucking angel. A divine angel right there. A fucking angel. You cannot tell me that God isn't real. You cannot tell me that angels don't exist. Yes, the fuck they do. Period. Anyway, I know I've done some crazy shit, and you cannot tell me that God does not love me, because yes, the fuck he does. Anyway, so literally, this guy, I was like, oh my God, because I made an ad on Craigslist saying I needed a place to stay, so that's how he got my info, and that's why he told me about it. It was a hostel for $500 a month, which was extremely affordable for Hawaii, okay? Extremely. And when I got there, it was sketchy and ghetto, but I didn't give a fuck. I just wanted a place to stay. So I was like, oh my God, finally, you know, I got a place to stay. I'm okay. So $500 a month, I had $500. So I gave the guy the $500. He's like, welcome in. He gave me a bed. I was like, yes. And then I met some people. I met this guy who was like 17, 18 years old. He seemed pretty nice. I think he was 19. He seemed pretty nice. He was a native Hawaiian guy or whatever. And then there was a bunch of other men. So a lot of these guys were men, and I didn't see any women around. I was like, and it was ghetto. And the bathrooms, when I saw those, oh my God. So it was 2 little showers with only a curtain. And then there was a giant tile floor, and then 2 little wooden doors to toilets. So it wasn't even private. When people were showering, you got to take a piss while they're in there. Yes, you do. You got to take a fucking piss while the guy's fucking showering, getting his dick fucking whipped around. And yes, that happened while I was in there. And yes, that guy was from prison. I'm just saying, like, I mean, he didn't do nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, you know what? Go ahead, bitch. Go ahead, just don't touch me, bitch. Like, I mean, you know what? There's way worse people out there. If masturbating's the gist of it, bitch, go on. I don't give a fuck. Like, literally, nobody did anything weird to me there. And there are guys from prison there, a lot of guys. There's like 17 guys that live there. And then there's this older lady named Heidi who lived there. Bless her heart, Heidi. Me and Heidi ended up becoming friends. So Heidi, when I first met her, she was this really shy and docile girl. Like, I said hi to her and she didn't say anything, and I thought I didn't like her at first because I was like, she didn't even say hi to me. But I think it was like 2 weeks later, her daughter just came in there, and I was like, oh my God, there's this young blonde girl in here. She's so cute. And I ended up meeting her, and her name was Kali. So this is significant because Kali was a name that I chose for one of my soulmates years before this meeting. And years before this, I had told myself I would meet this girl named Kali in Hawaii. And I did. And I chose that name because I liked it. That's the only reason. And I'd sure as fuck, by the fucking name, I went and met this woman. Now, I'm not saying we're not together, but what I'm saying, she is my soulmate in the way of a magical creature that I met who I manifested. And I loved her. And, you know, when I first saw her, I thought she'd be, you know, a preppy, you know, I don't know. I never talked to a skinny blonde girl in my life before, so I didn't know. You know, I only watched movies with them in it, and they weren't, you know, usually weren't very nice. So, you know, when I actually talked to her, she was so fucking nice and cool. I was like, what? Like, it was amazing. And literally, she was so pretty too. And honestly, I feel bad for thinking that. I never, you know, I was a nerd back in high school. I never talked to a blonde in my whole life at all. I really didn't. I just hung out with the nerdy people and called it a day. But yeah, she, you know, she looked like, you know, a good-looking blonde girl with, you know, that was thin with glasses. She was very attractive. And I was like, there's no way this girl is going to be nice. I don't know why I thought that. I'm sorry. But I really, you know, I didn't know because I never experienced that. But we got along. We were best friends. Swear to God. From the fucking get-go. And she was so nice. And I feel so bad. I feel bad for thinking that. I just, you know, when you don't talk to people, you're not really sure how they're going to act. And, you know, there are blondes out there that do act like bitches. I've experienced it. But she wasn't. You know, she was a very kind person. And she's a very spiritual person. She was asking me about, like, my star sign and my sun, moon, rising. I don't know nothing about that. I just told her, well, I don't know, but enjoy. And that was pretty much the gist of it. And her mom was so nice. You know, once her mom started talking too, we all started being friends. We were all friends. And I was just like, this is so exciting. Because, first of all, we're all the only women there. Okay, we gotta be fucking friends. We're all in the same fucking situation, in the same boat. We're all fucking weirded out by the men. And I'm not joking. And, you know, first of all, um, she did end up staying the night. I think 1 or 2 nights. I don't know how many nights she spent, but I think that night it was one night. Or maybe that was the day she was going home. I don't know. But her dad lived a ways away, and she took the bus to see her mom. Because I guess her mom was homeless for a while, and she finally found a hostel to stay in. Bless her heart, because she was so nice. She was so nice. Like, I love her so much. And, it's just, I don't know how we all found ourselves there, but we did. And it was just a very nice experience to have them around, and I just really enjoyed their experience that they had for me, and I miss them. They're still in my heart, and I don't know, I just hope that they're doing okay, because Lahaina did end up having a fire, and I don't know what happened. I really don't. I don't know if anyone died. I hope not. I don't know anything. And I tried to contact Kali. I think she opened my text, so I think she's still alive. But I don't know about her mom, because her mom was older and she lived there. I don't know what happened. I don't know anything. And I'm just like, what? I have no clue of if everybody I know is okay or not. It's heartbreaking. I'm like, and it could have been me. If I wouldn't have left, that would have been me there. I would have just been settling in and everything would have gone to flames. So I'm glad I did leave. So, because something told me to leave. I swear to God, something told me to leave. And I left 2 years later. The fire happened. Something told me to leave Hawaii. Because I was only there for 2 months. And I swear to God, something told me to leave. And I listened. Something in my soul. Sometimes your soul speaks through your actions, and you don't really know it's for a reason until after. But yeah. And everything there was very beautiful. I loved Hawaii, and I found a job as a henna tattoo artist. I made a lot of money, and I also found a job doing other odd jobs around there, but whatever. And what else? Oh, this other chick. So I was there for about a month or so, a month and a half, and this other chick comes along. Her name's Sydney. She is this model, Korean girl who was a model, and I really mean this. Like, she was actually a model for like this yarn company. She did like modeling for the old ladies yarn or whatever. She's a very beautiful girl. She was very, thin, Korean, tan, beautiful. They were both beautiful. They're both beautiful girls. I'm so glad. I just love them. And they're both very spiritual. It's like, what are the chances of that? I don't barely ever meet spiritual people, especially, I don't know that many people. And, 2 spiritual, beautiful girls? What? And, like, prior to this is also very, what's the word? Significant, because prior to this, I had thought that I wanted one of my soulmates to be a model. And there she was, a model. I met her. And I thought I would meet her in Hawaii. I thought they'd be the same person, but they weren't. But that's how God works sometimes. And, they were both beautiful, don't get me wrong. They both could model. I just, specifically, like, as a job. But, and I'm just saying, like, they're both so nice and such beautiful people. I'm so glad I met them. And Heidi, too. I loved Heidi. She's very nice. And a few other people that I miss. At the grocery store, there's this very cute, nice girl that I met. She was so sweet. I forgot her name. But I hope she's okay. I hope her sister's okay. I hope her family's okay. I hope they're all okay. I don't know what happened. And Brandon, the guy that, the angel that sent me the information for the hostel. When I met him, I immediately knew, like, he was kind of like a brotherly figure to me. Like, if I had a brother, I feel like that would be it. Like a soul brother, I guess. Like, every time, like, he was a drunk, but he was like a happy drunk. Like, he wasn't just like one of the, like, he was always smiling. And I never seen a drunk like that. He was always smiling. You know, it was just so nice. Like, even though he was a drunk, at least he was smiling. And I feel so happy. Like, I loved him. I did. As a, like, a brotherly, you know, angel, you know, you saved me. You're, like, my brother kind of love, I guess. And, you know, I didn't talk to him too much, but, you know, from what I experienced with him, he's a nice man, you know, and he helped me. He was my angel. Thank you so much. And, you know, there's other people I met there, and it was just a whole experience. Oh, yeah, there's this black guy there I ended up meeting named Darcy. He was a guy. He was an artist, and, you know. but yeah. And I saw a shooting star with him on our first date on the beach. A shooting star on the first date on the beach. Like, what? In Hawaii? Like, I'm sorry. That's crazy. Like, at first, fucking, I don't know. That's weird. To me, that's weird. But, you know, it was magical. I saw the fucking star. I said, what the fuck? Yeah, because he was my first black man, you know? And I always wanted to try a black man. And I really mean that. Because I never had one before. I never been with a black man. I've been with a mixed man, but not a black man. Like, he was black, you know? And I was like, damn, I'm finally experiencing a black man. And he was nice. It was a great first experience. Thank you so much for helping me and being nice to me. That's all I can say. And being a kind person. Because kindness is never overlooked. That's all I gotta say. In this world, no. It's never overlooked. And all I'm saying is that I met such good people there that were helpful. They were spiritually aligned with me. And I'm just so happy, you know, that I got that experience. And I'm so lucky. No, because, like, with Darcy, he would, like, drive me to his town or whatever. And the drive itself was so beautiful because you could see all the mountains and stuff. That was one of the best parts of going to Hawaii, was, like, the drive there and, you know, hanging out, and it was fun. Like, I had a good time, and I'm glad I got to meet these beautiful people. I'm just so happy. I'm so lucky. Because a lot of people don't get to experience magic like that. They don't get to experience the what ifs. What if I did something crazy? What if I ran away and did something fucking crazy? You know, I've always wanted to do that. When I was younger, when I was depressed, when I was 17 and had social anxiety, because I always wanted to run away, and I did it twice, you know. And I don't regret the second time, especially. The second time, that was definitely worth it. The first time, I don't know. I think the second time was more worth it because I went alone. I think that's why. The first time I was with a guy I didn't really like. So I think that's helped a lot. Because, you know, I didn't feel like I was stuck. You know, I felt stuck. I was like, ah! I mean, I was stuck, but in a different way. And, you know, the angels came and saved me. Thank you. If you don't believe in angels, watch this fucking video, because swear to God. Maybe that'll be the title. But, if you want to do something crazy like what I did, do it. This is your time. Your sign to do it. Do it. Whatever you're thinking. Moving, do it. I don't care how much fucking money you got. You want to do it? You want to run away? Go. Don't go with anyone. No, don't go with anyone. Don't go with a stranger. Go by yourself. And if you have pepper spray, bring it. If you're a woman, if you're a man, you bring it. Just 'cause. It's a good protective device. It's never it's never bad to be safe. Okay? I'm just saying. As a woman, it's a good thing to have. Especially if you're going to do something crazy. Me, when I went to Hawaii, I didn't have that. All I had was me. And you know what? That's fine, because I'm crazy. But in a good way, most of the time. But yeah, that's my story. So if you don't believe in angels, well, you can't tell me that they're not real, because I do. Do I believe in church or the Bible? No. I don't. Here's the thing with the religious stuff. I believe that God exists, okay? It's not about religion itself. It's about God. The love of the holy divinity, I guess. The holy divinity has created all that is. All religions share one core belief, which is belief. That's why it's a religion. My religion is love right now. Love, and the religion I'd say that is closest to my views is probably Buddhism to some extent. I'm not super knowledgeable on Buddhism. I don't care about, religions that much. From what I've heard, it's the closest to what my views are. But yeah. I'm not really a religious person, and these good things, these angels, have come to help me. So you cannot tell me that they're not real, because they are. And if you believe, I didn't even know what the fuck was going on. I didn't even believe. I just kind of hoped everything would be okay, and I winged it. Sometimes you gotta wing it and just let it happen. But you gotta know in your heart that you're doing the right thing. Trust yourself. That's my greatest advice. Trust your fucking self. Trust it when you make a Craigslist ad. Trust it when you take somebody's phone number. I don't know. Trust it. Because you never know what's going to happen. It's a surprise, which is the magic of life. It's a surprise. It's beautiful. And if you have the same thing over and over and over again, you're going to get bored. Maybe it's time for a change. Maybe you need to do something crazy. Maybe you need to do something you've always wanted to do. Okay? If you can do it, do it. That's my advice. But the angels are real. And they come in the form of human beings. Yes, they do. I've had multiple in my life. More than 3, more than 4. Okay, I've dated one. Yeah, that's right. I dated one. Lucky me. But I'm just saying. But anyway, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.